Wow, I am stoked. Today, my new camera came, new to me. And this is, of course, my Mamiya C220, my twin lens reflex camera. And well, here's the camera. And it's a thing of beauty. It's upside down. So there's the camera. And I took it out today. Took 12 terrible photos. And the real shame is I'm not going to see those photos for many days because I'm probably going to take some other photos on a few other rolls. I've got 5 rolls of Tri-X 400. And so it'll keep me busy, and then I'll send them off because right now I'm not ready to start processing film. But those 12 photos I took today, I'm not going to know how bad they were until a couple weeks from now. So let me see if I can extract the film without screwing it up. And I've done this a whole bunch of times. The film should be in here, all nice, and so I should be able to unlock that, flip this thing over. There's the film. And let me, I gotta do this here. I guess there's a sticker or something on here. Somehow, I guess I'm missing something on this. Okay, so it's exposed, but I don't have any sticky stuff that I can... All right. I'm sure there's a secret to this. Okay, I've never done this before in my life, so what the heck do I do with this? It looks like it wants to stick to something, but there's no sticky stuff. Oh, man. Let me talk to you about this in a minute. I got to figure out what to do with this roll of film I got in my hand, though. It's about to spring apart, and so maybe if I can wrap it with something. All right, I'll be back. So, all right, got that sorted. I put a rubber band on it. After I'm done with this part of the video, I will go maybe look up online to see what I'm supposed to do with this, because I expected that there would be like a little piece, like on a, I don't know, like on a Band-Aid, you know how you have the part peel off and it's sticky? I was expecting that, not just a totally free end. In any case, here's my first roll of 12 terrible pictures, and over here, got my notes saying, picture number 1, orchid, sunlight, indoors, 5:15 p.m., 1/500th of a second, f4. Probably 1.5 under. I didn't notice how extended the lens was. So I'm taking notes all along because how else am I going to learn? Like number 3, vase on porch, hazy sunlight, 1/500th, f11. And I don't know, we'll see how these turn out. I'm learning everything new on this. I had to look up videos on how to operate the camera before I even started working with it today. I had to figure out how to open it, how to set it up to use. Like there's multiple dials on here. Example, you can do 2 different kinds of film. This does like 120 and 220, but nobody does 220. They don't even make it anymore, I don't think. And so I didn't know. You've got a little switch here you got to set to 120. There's a thing inside you have to set to 120, the pressure plate in the back. There's a little switch here you got to set to single so that you aren't doing multiple exposures. So I had to go through all of that and make sure everything was set just right. And this is the really cool thing about this camera, and these kind of older cameras in general. This is absolutely mechanical. There's no battery. There's nothing. You just dial in exposure settings right here and take your picture. In fact, something really cool about this, the Mamiya cameras, the C220 and C330 and their brethren, is that this section comes right off. And the camera really is these lenses. Because, and in fact, let me show you that. What you do is, there's a whole process here. You got to flip this little thing, then make sure it's all the way up, then you flip this little, yeah, it goes like that, twangs off, and the lenses just come right off. And what's super neat about it is this is the camera. There's the shutter mechanism. In fact, I can set it and trigger it right there. The aperture is also right here. So if I do like that, let's just make it a real wide aperture and we'll set it maybe a nice slow shutter. We'll set it for a second and then we shall do, let's see if I can get it to work. There. Pretty neat, huh? So this unit, if you buy another set of lenses or something, these are available online, you have a new camera essentially. If anything goes wrong with all the timing and everything, it's in here. And if you replace this piece, then the rest of your camera is golden. So let's put this all back together. Hopefully less. There we go. It's a little bit more genteel than the way I disassembled it. But that's how it works. Like this is your shutter release. And that's just moving this whole series of bars and things down and pressing this lever. And the only reason there's other pieces on here is, for example, this thing at the top, that's where you would screw in a cable release. And there's little places where it has to hit things that are going to stop you from depressing the shutter if you haven't done something. For example, if you haven't advanced the film. So it's very heavy. This feels like a standard American brick. If you think about holding a brick in your hand, that's what this feels like. It's the weight of a brick. I'm just not used to that. Where I was saying about using this kind of viewfinder, this is really nice, and with the ground glass. And if you look in there, you'll see there's a little red thing. That actually is the warning that I didn't flip the guard down that you need to put in place for the lenses when you change them. There's a little guard that covers up the film, so when you change the lenses, you don't expose the film. And so when you look inside here and you see that little thing, that basically means, hey, bozo, you've got the film chamber covered over by the little guard thing. And so you come over on the side. And by the way, don't learn anything about how to use this from me. I learned this from a video about a day ago. So there's a little guard switch here, and you flip it, and it goes like that. And something in there goes, whoop. And now when we look inside, we're not going to see, if I can get this to line up, you're not going to see that little red thing. So one of the things I want to talk about is, even though I had studied very carefully how this camera works, and I practiced with it, I played with it, messed with it, and I did some dry runs and stuff, and I've been into photography for decades, it was humbling. I felt like I was all thumbs every step of the way, ranging from the moment when I first had to figure out how do you open it, to when I opened it. So let's open it. And you'll see there's a roll down here. That's the roll from the last little film we did. That's the 12 shots I just did. What you have to do is you take the old roll and you put that in the top up here, and you put your new roll down there. So you always have to have the old spool. I didn't know that. Learn something new every day. Getting this spool here to mount in this, pull this pin out. I was doing that this afternoon as the orchid I was trying to photograph, the sun was fading on it. And I'm like, man, I don't even know how to get the roll of film in there. I got it in there, got it stretched over to the roll that had been left in here before by the prior owner. And I started stretching it and putting a little tension on the bottom as I tightened it up. And I was able to get that to work. And it was no big deal, but it just, you take for granted that you know how to load film in a camera. Yeah, I know how to load a 35mm camera, but this thing, brand new to me. Other things that were humbling is, here I am, with this. Every time I went to take a photo, I would forget. You have to cock the shutter, and you have to set your exposure. You have to do all of that before you focus. The reason is, the focus is here. I'll go right here. This is how the focus works. Guess what's going to happen if you start messing around with your the shutter or something like that? You're going to bump the focus. And it's just one of the hardest things, is the focus on this camera is really fiddly. And so it's the very last thing that you end up doing. And if you go to press the shutter and you're like, oh, it's not going up. What didn't I do? Oh, I didn't advance the film. Go to press it. Oh, I didn't cock the shutter. So these are all the things I'm going to have to get used to doing. And and that's on top of your standard, hey, this has no light meter and it has auto nothing. Therefore, set your shutter speed and set your aperture by hand. So put all that together, and it made for a very interesting 12 shots this afternoon. I will be amazed if one or two of them turn out to be pleasant. All the rest, well, I'll show everybody all the rest of them, and we'll talk about what went wrong with them. So it's a whole lot of fun. I'm looking forward to doing square format photography. I'm looking forward to the fact that I have to stop and think. I have to really plan what I want to do. I can't just go and take 50 pictures and pick the 5 that I think turned out okay. I have to actually methodically measure, meter the light, and determine, oh, where do I want my dark place, the light place. I got to use the zone system and figure out what's my zone 5, and I want this part to be a little brighter. Let me add a stop or two. I'm going to have to do that. For the short term, I'm probably going to have these 2 cameras with me whenever I go out shooting, and I'll probably take the same picture with both of them, and then this one is going to guide me and help me get my exposure right, and maybe give me a safety net if I really, really wanted the photo. But I want to get real film photos in black and white. I want to have good grain, and this is the soul of photography right here. That's all I got. Thank you very much for watching.